Hey everybody, it's great to see you. Thank you for coming out tonight. So great to be together again. I want to start with a confession. Since we were last together like this, I've been streaming some TV. And maybe you have too. And I've gotten into some of these home makeover shows that you're probably aware of, where people buy a house and then they come in and they look around, and sometimes it's pretty rough. But then they create a fresh vision, and they make some hard decisions, and they get down to work. And they start stripping the wallpaper, and they start knocking the walls down, and it gets messy. And then couples get crabby. And sometimes there are tears. And you're watching because you know where this is going. There is a reveal coming, and I am a sucker for that reveal. Because you see the changes happening, and then the house turns that corner, and then, wow, transformation. Well, when I may or may not have been watching one of these shows recently, I got to thinking about this moment in our region and the mindsets that we're bringing to this moment. As Laisha said, we have so many assets in this economy and community, and the bones of this house are strong. And as we look around, we know we have work to do. We see the remains of decisions made by other people in another time. And in this moment, we don't want to just improve. We're not talking about a coat of paint or swapping out the curtains. We want to embrace the opportunity to transform. We want to transform how fast our economy is growing, because that's how opportunity is created. We want to transform how that opportunity flows so it reaches many more people in our community. And by doing these things, we will transform how our region is viewed by the rest of the country and the world, and then we will transform to become a place that people are moving to from all over. And the good news you're hearing from the stage tonight is that the transformation of our region is underway. By transformation, we're not talking about being something we're not or starting over from scratch. This is a remodel, not a teardown. We're talking about going back to what the state and region have always been good at, creating solutions to the greatest challenges in health and food and finance and technology. That's how we built all these global companies. That's how we've created opportunity and prosperity. Solving the challenges that affect billions of people is still a good business model. So our strategy, all of us together as Greater MSP, is to renew this economy for this generation by solving the next set of challenges. So this year in healthcare, we're going to rally around that inspiring vision that Jeff shared for shaping the future of global healthcare. In technology, we're going to double down on our region's semiconductor industry, which currently employs 10,000 Minnesotans and could be twice as big. In manufacturing, we're going to tackle climate change by building a bio-manufacturing industry in this state that replaces fossil fuels with biology to make everything from cosmetics to car parts. In food, we're creating a strategy around alternative proteins that will help feed 9 billion people on this planet without crashing the ecosystem. And one more that you probably haven't heard of, another example of how we're building the next economy here by creating solutions to climate change. So the airline industry is responsible for over 2% of all greenhouse gas emissions in the world, and 98% of that comes from flying the planes. Electric passenger jets are not on the horizon, so the only real solution is something called sustainable aviation fuel, replacing jet fuel made from oil with fuel made from sustainable crops. We are in the early stages of exploring how to build a sustainable aviation fuel hub in Minnesota. That means growing the feedstocks here, refining it here, blending it here, and filling all the planes at MSP Airport with it, where Delta alone uses 270 million gallons of fuel every year. You're going to hear more about this later this year. These are exciting ideas because they're not just ideas, they are actions. Each of these are actual cross-sector collaborations now in motion. We're building the next version of our economy by going big on these fast-growing industries of the 21st century. Now, we're not going to be competitive for every industry in the new economy, so where we are competitive, we need to win. And to win, I see two areas where our region really needs to focus on doing better than we have in the past: getting to scale and succeeding at inclusion. What do we mean by scale? I'm talking about placing some bets and breaking with incrementalism. Our region, as you know, is amazing at starting things. There are hundreds of activities and programs and initiatives, almost all of them fantastic. But the efforts most critical to the future success of our economy need to grow to a scale where they deliver outcomes that are nationally and globally significant. It's not enough to think big, we have to find ways to do big. And doing big takes good strategy, lots of partners coming around that strategy, playing the right roles, and it takes capital. In some cases, billions of dollars. Most of that capital is going to come from the private sector, from here and outside the state. But some of it, and often early dollars, will need to be public. And that's why we need a new partnership with the state of Minnesota and the federal government to realize our economy's full potential at this moment of transformation. You know, in the first 10 years of this Greater MSP partnership, there wasn't one project or effort that was worth $1 billion. Right now, in the first quarter of 2023, there are 7 different efforts going on in the Greater MSP partnership, each of which are worth $1 billion or more to the economy. Right now, we have opportunities at a scale we've never seen, and we need to rally around these opportunities with the resources they require in order to win. Now, in addition to achieving scale, we need to succeed at economic inclusion. There is so much action within organizations and in collaborations happening across the community, and that action is starting to translate into measurable progress. You might have seen the Star Tribune report in December that Black household wealth in Minnesota is up 43% in the past 5 years. That Minnesota moved past 9 other states since 2010 in closing the wealth gap between Black and white households. This year, we can keep that momentum going by turning commitments into investments. And this year, we can accelerate progress by rallying around some of the bold innovations you're hearing about tonight. First Independence Bank, the MSP Equity Fund, the Groundbreak Coalition, Connects MSP. These are big collective efforts built by hundreds of leaders and organizations, many of you. And they're focused on driving the systemic changes that we know are needed in banking, in startup investment, housing, small business, in the way that careers are launched. This work to build wealth in communities of color and engage everyone fully in the labor force is not a temporary topic. This is one of those new rules of the 21st century. Competitive economies will be inclusive economies because growth and inclusion aren't trade-offs, they rise together. And that's why racial inclusion is a priority in our region's economic strategy. Together as Greater MSP, we are working aggressively on inclusion, and we're not going to quit, because while we know racial gaps are today's reality, we are determined they will not be our destiny. You know, I've never been more excited about the future of this region and what's possible through this partnership that we've built together. The number of leaders and organizations involved keeps growing. We find new ways to win together and win bigger every quarter. Last year, there were 50 projects across the Greater MSP partnership, all executing against one shared strategy. 690 leaders, many of you, did that work in small teams, in business investment, in Forge North, and Embold, and Make It MSP, and Connects MSP, and now also the Itasca Project. Thanks to each of you. Thanks to the board and to leadership council members. Thanks to Greater MSP investors who enable us to turn an $8 million budget into $1 billion of direct economic impact. And thanks to the incredible creative professional staff team that drive this enterprise of action from the center and make everything possible. Could we just clap for them for 1 second? Together, we are Greater MSP, and because of all of us, this region is closer than we realize to the future we want. We are in the dusty part of the remodel, where it can be hard to tell how much progress we're making. But we are on the way to creating a new north, an economy and community we will be proud to reveal to the world. And so we're going to take another step forward tonight, right now. I'm going to be inviting some leaders to this stage, friends, who represent hundreds of others, leaders who have catalyzed bold efforts that you're going to hear about now in the areas of arts and environment and community building and economic growth. These efforts are aligned with our strategy, and they will transform this region when we take them to scale. They are here to pitch you tonight because these efforts are growing fast and they are looking for leadership. This is going to go quickly, so please pay close attention and feel free to show your enthusiasm because this is a rally for the future of the region.